All right, guys, this one's special because it is a legacy cylinder head for HeadGames. And what I mean by that is I started HeadGames in 2001. I have a 400 square foot shop or closet. I had a flow bench in there, I had a grinder, and I had an air compressor. And I sweated my balls off in there, and I was able to set some records out there. And one of them is with the 4G63. And that was with Sean Glazier. Sean Glazier and John Shepard were going back and forth around that time, trying to figure out who's going to be the fastest. And they went back and forth. John Shepard, obviously, he went to another level. But John Shepard actually ended up using a HeadGames head in the end. The head's been on Sean Glazier, it's been on John Shepard, it has been on Richard Ung's car, it has been on, I'm trying to think of all the fast Gen 1s, and it's been on Red Demon. So the fastest stick shift. Watching. I went to go to the combustion chamber, and you can see here that the valve seats are above the combustion chamber itself. So they're above the aluminum, and you have to put a valve in here like I have here. A dummy valve, we take the 45, make the 45 razor sharp, so that way when it sticks in there, that it is flush with the valve seat. Now, we're still going to have an issue here because the valve seat is still above the chamber. So what I had Matt do is we just took a cutter and we flattened the top of the top cut in order to make it so the valve is at least a little bit below the chamber, as you can see here. So now I can blend this all in, and I can blend all this in, and I don't have to worry about the seat being above, because that's not typical. That's not, every one of them is not going to be like that. Usually they are below the combustion chamber, but when you get one core that's not, and this way it will do it to all of them. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to blend this back, I'm going to blend this back, and we are going to digitize this after I'm done with it. You guys see me mention in other videos. Well, if you have it, I use a 3M tool here for doing a disc, and I modified it. So what I did was I took the end of it off, so that way it's not as round. So the disc is usually, the tool is usually the same size as the disc, but I didn't want it that way because I really need the disc to be malleable in order to get into these corners. So now we're going to start sanding it. So this is after, and you can see now nothing is sticking up. We have a slight radius right here. You might not be able to see that right there. And then everything is all blended in. Now this thing is going to be able to be digitized, and digitized very, very nicely versus before. I said when we had the seats all sticking up and stuff. Nobody wants that in a performance application. It's definitely, especially like a guy that's making as much jam as Rich does. All right, this thing is all done. Hand ported, sanded. Now, we don't care about surface finish for the CNC because, well, the CNC just doesn't care about what this thing looks like. It's only going to probe it. Let's take a look at this. So on the floor, you see this fin, the intake port. Pretty happy with it. So what I've done is I made a trench here, I made a trench here, here, and here. So this narrowed the valve guide bosses, and I also narrowed this. Now, if you notice that the divider is not razor sharp, and that's for a good reason. We do not make any of these razor sharp. We always blunt them, and more on that later. I'm not going to get into theories right here, but this is all ready to digitize. The exhaust, got two guide bosses narrowed and made to the center of the valve guide hole, and I enlarged all this. Now, what I did not do though is you notice there's not an opening to the gasket. I see a lot of guys opening these heads to the gasket, but the problem is there's water right here. So what I see people do is they open it up to this gasket. So the gasket's down here. They open just this part to the gasket, narrowly missing the water. But it really just doesn't do anything for you to open only that area. You have to make the whole port like that, and then you're going to put a hole in it. So we do not do that at all. All right, so now that this thing is ported, sanded, it's time for Matt to start digitizing and cutting. Look at her. Smooth in all the right places, tight where it counts, just like you wish your last date was. It is a stunner. Well, if you guys are watching the videos, you know I'm always just super happy with our ports. I've never been disappointed with the way that Matt makes my hand port into a beautiful, beautiful masterpiece. So we got all of our fins in here, and the step over looks great. You can see there is the fin that's on the floor of the port. Everything looks absolutely stunning, and I am very excited about this. Let's take a look at the exhaust. Guys, this port's so good. Your compressor wheel is going to start sending me Christmas cards. It's going to be just like, I love Dave. I love HeadGames. They're so awesome. Anyway, we got our guide bosses all narrowed in. We got our divider. Now, it's very important, actually. I did not mention earlier that this port is a very scary one to CNC because there is so much core shift, although we're not seeing it here. It looks like everything cleaned up, even though this is the hand port, this was the hand port, this was the digitize, and he cut the same one, and it looks really, really awesome. But there is a way that you can put a hole on. I know you can't really see because there's no way I can actually put a camera in here, but up in here by the short side is very, very thin. And some of these heads, they have core shift, and it's very easy to knock into that hole. And I know that because we've done it, and it's not a fun time, and then you have to get it welded. So what we did was we shrunk the port, and we shrunk the port in order to make sure that they're CNC friendly, because not every head is CNC friendly. So here we go. This thing is all ready for guides. We're going to put some GSE guides. Well, actually, not this head, it's a junk head, but we're going to put some GSE guides in the real head. Valve job at mill, assemble. Also take a look at that awesomeness from the combustion chamber. See how it's all blended in, no hot spots. For detonation, and the valve job blends in perfectly. I could not be happier with the chamber. Now, all these are never the same, unfortunately, but these look really consistent. And this thing's going on Richard Ong's car. Now, we did a video way back in the day, maybe like 2 years ago, on Richard's car, going to World Cup. I'm thinking that we might do that again. If you guys can comment below. I want to hear if you would want to see some of the race cars, some of what it takes to get there. We actually recorded the rest of this cylinder head. So we're talking November, you'd see that video. But it would kind of put the whole picture together. What does it take for the rest of this cylinder head to be completed and for it to run a number? Now, Ong's car is not a Red Demon style situation. Red Demon's on another level. But Red Demon and Ong's cylinder head is pretty much the same parts. It's the same process. And you guys can all see that. Just comment below. I hate long goodbyes, but I just want to say that this cylinder head, this port, has been relevant since flip phones. Flip phones were cool back then, and this cylinder head is still cool now. It has set world records. It's still setting world records. It's done it since we did it back then, back in 2003, 2004. And as I said, it's been on some of the legends of 4G63 racing. I'm so proud of that, and I'm proud to be able to present that to the world, to you guys. I know I have a lot of fans who have been looking for some 4G content, and here you go. You got one of the best on the planet. So that's going to do it for us today. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Toodles.